5 Batgirl facts you probably didn't know. Batgirl is one of the most talked about movies right now, which is ironic given that it's one that nobody will ever get to see, as Warner Brothers cancelled the $90 million movie. The film was all but complete and in the final stages of post-production, but it was scrapped after the studio had no faith in it. Regardless of the quality, so much has come to light about the movie that hints at an interesting and exciting story, and unfortunately, fans will never get to see it. However, a movie about the film's cancellation could be just as exciting at this point. Between actors' outrage at the cancellation, the story leaks, and the co-director even finding out about the cancellation on his wedding day, the constant updates are more thrilling than any upcoming Warner Brothers movie. Number 1. The movie's cancellation was blown out of proportion. The $90 million Warner Brothers DC film Batgirl, starring Leslie Grace as Barbara Gordon and Batgirl, was announced last month that it would not be released theatrically on HBO Max or anywhere else. Warner Brothers Discovery, which was formed earlier this year by Discovery's acquisition of Warner Media, determined that taking a tax write-off for Batgirl made more financial sense than commercial release. Warner's chief financial officer of Warner, Gunnar Wiedenfels, said regarding the Batgirl decision, "To me, it's blown out of proportion a little bit. It seems like, in terms of the attention externally," he then added, "the focus is on a go-forward basis here. We're spending more than ever in the history of the two legacy companies on content. We're continuing to make significant investments, but we'll make them differently." He then added about the coverage of the company's nixing of Batgirl and other projects, "Regarding Batgirl, I don't think it's unusual. We are a creative industry, and one of the elements of creativity is that there is judgment and views on what the potential of what a certain piece of intellectual property might be." Number 2. Her costume. Leslie Grace, who is supposed to play Barbara Gordon on the HBO Max film, took to Instagram to share the first official look at her Barbara Gordon superhero costume. The suit and mask are purple in colour, with a gold bat symbol and cape trimming. Grace also included a classic quote from a classic Batgirl comic: "I use their expectations against them. That will be their weakness, not mine. Let them all underestimate me. And when their guard is down and their pride is rising, let me kick their butts." Although Batgirl has worn a variety of outfits in comics and other media, her most iconic costume is the one with the purple and gold colour scheme, seen most frequently over the years. DC and Warner Brothers are drawing inspiration from that classic look for Batgirl's first live-action story, ensuring she looks as true to the comic as possible. Grace's outfit, which includes a utility belt and a thigh holster, appears to be well equipped to deal with whatever she may encounter on her journey to becoming a superhero. Number 3. 90 minutes of score was completed. Movie composer Natalie Holt was scoring the movie, and even though Batgirl wasn't finished when it was scrapped and was still in post-production, Holt says she already had 90 minutes of the score completed. The composer explains, "It's a shame that it's not going to be out there in the world after all that time, like having spent a year working on it. Yeah, pretty disappointing." The composer is fresh off the massive success of Loki, which she also composed, and that score was quirky, exciting, and unlike anything else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It'd be interesting to hear what she could have done with a more gothic visual counterpart. Unfortunately, audiences are unlikely to hear it unless Warner Brothers uses it for something else. Number 4. An anonymous star of the movie is offended by the cancellation. While Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav has already axed numerous films since taking over the company, Batgirl was the studio's biggest hit. Many people involved in the film's production, including star Leslie Grace and directors Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, were affected by the news. However, when discussing how disappointed they are, everyone has remained civil. The anonymous star said, "I felt a considerable amount of comfort reading your excellent article and the examination of this whole nightmare. The multiple streaming avenues and their vague guarantees appear anything but secure. I am very offended by what happened and feel terrible for the directors and Leslie Grace, who were all wonderful to work with, as well as all of the technicians." The star then added, "It was an enormous, rewarding challenge to make this movie during COVID and during the cold weather in Glasgow. None of these things matter to an imbecile like Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav. His cowardice is breathtaking." Number 5. The villain was Killer Moth. Few plot points were known about Batgirl, but now that it has been cancelled, a lot is being revealed, including who the main antagonist was. Killer Moth, a previously unknown villain to general audiences, appeared in the film. According to stunt performer Jules Wallace, who doubled for the unknown Killer Moth actor, the character in the film wore a green tracksuit and had a giant moth head tattoo. Wallace also posed for a photo with J.K. Simmons' stunt double, implying that the character had scenes with Commissioner Gordon. While Batman films frequently used the same revolving door of villains, such as the Joker, the Riddler, and Bane, even if they are completely different iterations, the unreleased film at least introduced a character who had never before appeared on the big screen.